G'day guys, welcome back. Welcome to Pouring Your Heart Out. It's been a long time since I've used my crushed velvet tray mold. So with the crushed velvets that I make one like this that's got the crushed velvet attached. So that's all in one, in the large and extra large, which is even bigger. And then you can buy from my store, you can buy just the inlay and you can put that in your own mold in a large and an extra large. I guess the beauty of this one is when you pour resin in, it's not going to seep underneath. You know how sometimes resin seeps underneath inlays? So anyway, that's the story of this. And what I like to do with the crushed velvet, and it's already crushed for you. You don't have to put the resin in and your plastic and wait for it to go off and then have bubbles trapped under it and all that. It's done for you. I've gone through all that myself. I've perfected it. And I've got the crushed velvet, so easy peasy. I'm going to use these Let's Resin Chameleon powders. Let's have a look. I'm not sure what colour I want yet. Champagne. Put them upside down like that so we can see. Plum. Golden. Grape. Teal. Magenta, blue, mint, olive, and galaxy. All right, so I think I'm probably going to choose 2 or 3 and just kind of blend them a little bit. So I think you either go for like greeny gold, or you go for maybe blues, or you go for your pinky purples, things like that. So this teal really jumped out at me. So teal, actually maybe I should go for like a greeny gold. I've never done that before. Teal and mint. How about teal, mint and golden? What do you think? Just for something different. I always do the bluey purple tones. Let's do that. See, these are nice too. Champagne and plum. Oh, champagne, plum and magenta. See, that would be nice too. Oh gosh. Next time. Anyway, I'm going to put them back in upside down so that when I come to look at them, they're all ready to go. Otherwise you just see a black lid. Whereas if I put them upside down, make sure that the lids are nice and tight. Ready to go. Alrighty. Let's just do this. So that's the mint. So you're getting like a greeny tone there. I may not even use the gold, we'll see. Maybe just the mint and the teal. Okay, let's just go 2 because mint and teal are kind of greeny tones, aren't they? That'll do. All right, so what we need to do now is basically I'm going to just sort of flick over because I don't really want like harsh, sort of join lines. And a little bit of this one. And hopefully the colors will sort of blend a little bit more, maybe. That's my, oh, that's a big blob. That's my theory anyway. To get in there as well, down the sides. You think these 2 colors will go nicely together? Hope so. It's probably all I need, really. I think they'll go quite a long way. We'll see. I'll just put them there for now. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to brush these on all over. And like I said, hopefully I'm not going to get that sort of stark line where the 2 colors join. Now we have to make sure we go in here and do the side of that I'm going to call it an inlay, even though it's attached, the bottom and also the side of the mold. So this is a 2-step process. Well, I guess it's a 3-step process because we're dusting the mold first, Then we come back in with black, and I'm going to do black. I always do black. I just feel that the chameleon powders really pop against a dark background, but you could maybe do navy. You could potentially do white. You could try clear. I don't know how they would work, but you could try different colors. So that's stage 2, filling it up with the black. And then stage 3 is unmolding and then doing a top coat. And I'll talk to you about that once we get up to that stage. So I have used probably a little bit more powder than I need, but I'm going to push it over here to the edges so that I can get my edges done. So whatever touches the mold first, whatever color touches the mold first is going to be what you're going to see. Even if I had to go and put another color over the top now, you would only see when you unmold the color that is touching the mold first. So you don't need to worry about going over it again with a different color maybe. Okay, I think that's done. I'm going to take this outside now and give it a bit of a blow with my little duster. A little electric duster. Put those back in there. And I'm going to mix up my black resin and clean my brush, and then I'll be right back. All done. Look at that. I don't know if you can pick up any sheen or shimmer, but yeah, it's looking really pretty. And I've mixed up my black. I was going to use the black Let's Resin, but I only got a tiny bit of each, and I thought I might need a bit more. So I've just used this one, Let's Resin epoxy resin. Now it's not the fast cure, it's not the deep cure, it's just their regular casting resin. And because I wanted to make this a little bit thinner, there's something in there, the resin, I wanted it to be nice and thin. I did put the resin in there, added my black. I gave two big squeezes of the Let's Resin black pigment paste, and then I put it in the microwave for 10 seconds, and it's just made it that little bit thinner, so when I'm stirring it, it doesn't attract or keep as many bubbles either. But yeah, it's not like a fast cure, so I don't think it'll be a problem. Now I'm going to just pour onto my stick and let it flow in. And what I want to do is I want the resin to just flow gently into those little edges all the way around. I want it to flow in on its own accord. So if there are any bubbles, you know, the resin is just going to kind of push the bubbles out. Hopefully I've got enough. I did 135 grams of A and 130 grams of B. Oh gosh, look at that. Oh, that's pretty perfect. Pretty perfect. Might just finish it off. I don't mind if it's doming slightly, because when the resin cures, it does shrink and sort of pull away from the edge a little bit. So, well, there you go. 135 of A, 130 of B. So 265 grams that took to fill it. And I'm just going to give it a light little spray with isopropyl. That'll just pop any bubbles that are on the surface. And remember that this is the back. It's going to be the back of the mold, so, or the underside. So it doesn't really matter if we've got bubbles. We just don't want bubbles on the other side. But obviously I can't see them. It's black. Having the powder on the mold does help to stop any bubbles clinging to the silicone, because there's that barrier. So it does help. And I don't know if there's any trapped in the edges there. I don't know. We're just going to have to hope for the best. So when you're doing this, you know, use a thinner resin, or do what I do and heat it in the microwave to make it thinner. But don't do that if it's a fast cure resin, because it's just going to increase the, you know, the curing rate, and you don't want it to flash cure either. So, all right, there we go. I'm going to cover that just because I don't want a fly getting into it. And I'll see you probably, oh, I'm not sure how long this takes, maybe 8 hours. Hopefully today, later on today. And we'll unmold it, and then we can do the top coat. Right, I have left this overnight. I had family over yesterday, so I thought I'll just spend the afternoon with them and come back to this in the morning. So it's cured now. And before I unmold it, I wanted to show you this one. You may have seen me do this one, if you've been following me for a while. This is a coaster one made the same way. Oh, I wrote dark green on the back so I knew what it was. So it's color shift from purple to green. Can you see that? So this one, again, it's already pre-made into the mold like that. If you're interested in the coaster one, that's the coaster mold as well, and that's also in my eBay store. Now, talking about stores, I have at the moment in one of my US Amazon stores, because I've got two. See, the problem, if you don't know Amazon, and I didn't know this either, I found out the hard way, you can put things into your Amazon store for 39 weeks. You can put in as much as you want, but after 39 weeks, they look at it and go, okay, it's not selling fast enough. You can't add anything else. No more. And I've got this great, amazing new mold that I've made for you. And I tried to put it into the store and they said, no, you're over capacity. You can't have anything else. So I thought, right, I'm going to close the store and just use my other store, because I've got two Amazon stores. One under Pouring Your Heart Out and one under Julie Cuts, which is me. Hi, if you don't know my name. Some people don't know my name. So yeah, so I have had a 50% off sale, you guys. There's still stock available if you want it, and I will link the store for you down in the description. So if you want some of my big molds, not like these ones, you know, the big ones, they'd be too heavy if I made them out of this silicone. But if you want them, there's still some available, 50% off store wide. And then, as I said, I was planning on closing it, but hopefully, because you guys buy the molds, Amazon will then let me put my new mold in the store if there's room. So that's what's happening, okay? So go ahead and grab some molds while they're 50% off. Okay, let's do this. We've unmolded. We'll flip it over. Woohoo! Look at that! It's looking very green at the moment. And remember, I will link this one for you as well down in the description. Okay, it's looking very green at the moment. Oh, there's a bit of color there. Can you see that? It's color shifting to, what did I actually use? I can't even remember. It was yesterday. I know I used, oh, that's right, teal and that minty green. So we're getting a bluey, greeny sort of a tone there. Gorgeous. All right, so now what we need to do, we've unmolded, we've got this little lip here, and that is what is going to contain the next layer, the clear layer. So at this stage, look, if you wanted it to, you could leave it like that, and you could have a little trinket tray, by all means. You could turn it into a clock. It's a little bit bendy still. Doesn't cure up as fast as that fast cure one does, obviously, but you could turn it into a clock. You could have it as a trinket tray. You could probably still mold it into a bowl if you wanted to, but I am going to put the clear top coat over the top. And if you wanted to, then you could add some handles, or you could just have it as a platter. Because we've dusted the edge with the chameleon powders, if I put clear up to the edge, you're going to see a very sort of shiny resin finish, and then you're going to see this finish. So you're going to see two different finishes. And if you like it like that, by all means leave it. But I will most likely go over the top and just dome that edge. So I'm going to go and mix up some clear resin, and I'll be right back. So I've mixed up my resin. I'm using the Let's Resin Fast Cure, but there are some bubbles in there, and I don't want bubbles in it, so I'm going to pop it into my Let's Resin debubbler. Hopefully the big cup will fit. Oh yeah, perfect. Perfect. All right, now let's see. It says 5.5 minutes. Let's do 5 minutes. There we go. So, because it's a fast cure, I don't like to leave it on for too long, because 5 minutes is 5 minutes curing time, but we might not need to do it for that long. I'll come back to you when it's had Had a couple of minutes. If I can turn it off with my gloves on. No, I can't. Oh gosh. About 3.5 minutes to go, and it's bringing those bubbles up to the surface. About 1.5 minutes to go. Still bringing all the bubbles up. So they come up to the surface and then they pop. It's not too loud, not like my vacuum chamber. I do have a vacuum chamber as well, under pressure pot, that I use to get the bubbles out of my silicone. You can see the bubbles are much bigger now. Normally I just leave it in here and I go and, you know, do something else, clean up, potter around. But just showing you today. What are we on? Oh, 7 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So there's still a few little bubbles in there. It hasn't finished de-vacuuming, but there are still a few little bubbles in there. So what you could do is you could go again with your, you could turn it on for another few minutes. You could start with 9 minutes or 8 minutes, or you could just torch the top. If you're happy with that, you could just torch the top. Make sure I don't spill anything. There we go. Pop you back on. Nice and easy, isn't it? Nice and easy to use. Right, here we go. Just give that surface a little torch, and yeah, that's really good. Let's get a stick back. If I wasn't having so much resin in there and it wasn't a fast cure resin, I probably would have put it on for a little bit longer. But because it's a fast curing resin, it's already starting to feel warm because I've got 300 grams in there. So I've got 10 ounces of resin. I wasn't sure exactly how much to mix up, but I thought, let's try 10 ounces. It's looking pretty good. And there's no bubbles. Oh, well, there's one. There's one just there. But because, you know, there's no silicone there, we can easily torch now with our torch if there are any bubbles. If I see one, I will go in and grab it. No, that's not a bubble. No, I can't see any. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to encourage, because you can see the difference. See how that's sort of like more of a matte now, and then you've got the shine. So if you wanted to, all you need to do is you just need to push very slightly with your resin to the edge. And if you're using a thick resin, like the Let's Resin Fast Cure, it's a nice thick resin. I certainly wouldn't do this with a thin resin. It would just all run down the side. Just want to put it to the edge, and you'll find that if it'll just sort of cling there to the edge, it won't run off. Obviously, if you put too much on, it's going to run off, but just gently coax it to the edge like that. And it should be fine. And you'll have a nice domed, shiny edge. It's not difficult to do. It just takes a little bit of patience all the way around. If you find that when you poured your resin the first time, if you've got any like little bubbles on the side, you know, if maybe you've used a thicker resin, I don't tend to get bubbles in mine, but if you have, when you're doing this, you could just put some tape, some masking tape or something around the edge, if you do have a bubble, and then you can just still fill it and it'll be fine. The bubbles will all get, or your little holes will all get filled with resin. So I haven't got quite enough resin here. See how it's pulling away from the edges? I haven't got quite enough resin. So let me just add a little bit more, finish this off. I just didn't want to overflow it, but it does need a little bit more just to dome. Right, let's see if that's going to be enough now. Just push with my stick. I'm just going to go all the way, just pushing it to the edge, and then I'll come back and sort of ease it towards the edge a little bit more neatly. I'm just going to make sure that I've covered everything, and then I'll come back and do it a little bit more carefully towards the edge. Hopefully I've got enough. If you don't have enough resin, it's going to keep pulling back in. So you just have to make sure that you've got enough. There we go. Anyway, I won't bore you with watching me do this. Let's go right to the edges. As the resin starts to thicken, it's much easier to do this. It'll just, like I said, it just wants to cling to the edge without running over. Oh, look, I'm nearly done. By the time I stop and push pause on my phone, on my camera, I'll have done. So you can watch or you can just fast forward. So basically we're just going to do this. Now your resin's, as I said, it's getting nice and thick, so it's clinging to the edges. So you don't want to go and torch too much on the edges and thin the resin and heat it, because then it could break that surface tension on the edge there that it's created and flow off. So just be careful not to overheat your edges. I'll bring you down in a minute so that you can see what it looks like domed, clinging to the edges. I think that's it. Oh, there's a little bit there that needs to go a little bit further. I think that's it. Oh, you guys, it looks amazing. A little bit more there. I think that's done. Done like a dinner. Quick little torch. Like I said, don't want to overdo it. All right, let's come down and have a look. Try not to drop my phone into it. Oh, look at those colour changes. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see if we can see. It's a bit difficult to see, isn't it? But there we go. You can see how the resin's gone all the way over the edge. Well, not over the edge, but it's just sort of sitting, clinging to the top, clinging to that edge there. It's not going over. And that is perfect. I wouldn't walk away and leave it for an hour. Oops, I've got a few bubbles on the top there that I need to pop again. But just keep an eye on it. You know, you don't want to leave it walk away and leave it just in case. There's a couple of little areas that pull back. See this here? See these? There's a couple of areas there that have just kind of pulled back a little bit. So we'll just push them. I may not have got them enough to the edge for it to cling to. To make sure it's touching that 90-degree edge there. How's that? I think that's good. And see anywhere else that it's pulling away? We're just there. But yeah, don't, like I said, don't walk away from it. Just come back and check it, make sure that it's not pulling away from the edges. And then at least you can just quickly push them back. If it does do that, Hopefully I've got enough resin. Okay, yeah, so just check it as it cures. And I can see a few little bubbles in the centre there that have come up. The bubbles, you know, of air, obviously they want to come to the surface, so they're pretty easy. When they come up, you can just pop them. It is really easy just to use your Let's Resin bubble removing machine and get those bubbles out before you pour any sort of clear resin. Look at the colour change. I'm going to have to take this outside once it's cured. All right, now this won't take very long at all to cure. Where was that thing that I saw? Where was that thing that I saw? There. Something in there. It's starting to sort of gel already. So it won't take too long. And then we'll take it outside and see what it looks like. So I'm just going to leave this one as a platter today. I won't put any handles on it, but I have done others where I've put handles on them. And what you can do is you can, if you want to do handles, I would advise just filling, you know, to the rim there. Once that's cured, put your handles in and then fill to the edge. Because it's too deep to put handles in now, they'll just sink. So if you wanted to do handles, do it that way. All right, see you in a few hours. All right, it has cured. There it is. There's the sides. It might be a bit difficult for you to see because of the ring lights. Come on, focus. Focus. Okay, there we go. There's the edges. I didn't overflow anything. Got a nice edge there all the way around. Nice domed edge. Looks amazing. Let's have a look at this colour change. I can't actually see where... Oh, those ring lights are annoying, aren't they? Where the mint was and where the teal was. It's blended really beautifully. Look at that. Green that way, and then when you tilt it, you can start getting the blues and the pinks and the purples in. Let's move away from those ring lights, eh? They're great for light, but they're not good for reflections. I'm going to get a really bright green that way. It's so pretty. It's very, looks textile, doesn't it? Like you want to touch it, but it's flat. I don't think I'm going to go outside because it's such a reflective surface. It's not really going to show those beautiful colours. So let me know what you think of it. I will link the products. Well, I won't link the actual products. I'll link the websites of the products down below and a coupon code so you can grab any of these Let's Resin products. And of course, my gorgeous crushed velvet tray mold. This is the large. There is the extra large and there's also the coasters. Or you can buy the inlays separately and put them in your own tray or coaster mold as well. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. And if you do this, show me, pop it up on my Facebook group, Pouring Your Heart Out. I would love to see what you do. Thank you so much for watching. And hopefully I'll see you all again real soon for the next video. Okay, take care. Bye for now.